The fans wanted to know what you took out of this very romance-driven kind of story.
What did you take out of it?
What did I take out of it? I've always been a firm believer in everything happens for a reason. And even if you don't understand it at the time when it happens, it's for some greater purpose. And I think with Rosie and Alex, there's so much that goes on within their journey that they don't understand at the time, or it seems like the end of the world, but things work their way out over time. And I think it confirmed for me, again, that everything happens for a reason.
Great answer.
Do you know what I was going to say, this is really difficult because this is the first sort of interview we've done together, and I'm like, oh no, she's just taking the words right out of my mouth. I feel like I have to now...
you can admit that was a great answer.
Yeah, it's a great answer. She wins. Yeah. I was second to the post. I was beat to the post. But yeah, I agree.
What was the challenge building that chemistry that had existed forever for the characters, basically?
I mean, we never worked to find chemistry. It was just sort of organically grown from meeting, really. And we met the first time, and it felt like we should have met before, or we had met before, but without actually meeting. We have so many mutual friends and connections within the industry. I mean, I think we both auditioned for each other's Snow White movies, but inevitably never crossed paths. But when we met, it was like, I feel like I've known you my whole life. We kind of spent a bit of time getting to know one another before we started filming. But then when we started, it was just very organic.
It was very, exactly. It was
easy.
Just such an easy, organic experience. And it felt like you said, we had known each other for years. So all these kind of experiences we had leading up to filming were already part of this past that we had. So we could just kind of draw on that, and it wasn't like we were meeting for the first time the day before filming, so that was really good.
Well, another question from the fans came from that, if you had wanted to work together before, and otherwise, who would you like to work with in the future? Do you have a list?
Do you have a list?
I have
a bucket list.
I have 3 people.
Who?
Meryl Streep.
Oh, yeah.
She's a good one.
She's on my list as well.
Colin Firth.
She's like on everyone's standard list.
I know. And Johnny Depp, which you've already gotten.
Achieved. Yeah. I mean, my list is sort of endless, really. Because what I find, a question I get asked a lot is who inspires you the most, and I think it's performances specifically.
Yeah.
I mean, at the moment, Benedict Cumberbatch can do no wrong. I've had the opportunity to work with Eddie Redmayne, but I'd love to work with him again. Tom Hardy, Michael Fassbender, Colin Firth. The list is sort of endless. I've just said nothing but English names there, so
I know.
I'm going to flip it on its head and
She's
say
half English actors are the most talented.
Bobby De Niro. I wouldn't say no to. Bradley Cooper. Yeah, I'd be here for hours. They're all men as well.
Opportunity.
So
Yeah, I know. You're really digging yourself into a hole.
This is just the B's, and then we go into the C's.
So to encourage the fans to go see this, what would you say was the most challenging and uplifting moment of filming it?
Wow.
Not having too much fun. I mean, I think when you're shooting a romantic comedy, the atmosphere on set, as you can imagine, was very bubbly and lively, and it was finding the kind of emotional punch that this film was meant to have that was quite tough at times. But for us too, especially, I think because we got on so well, it got to the point where the moment I'd see tears in her eyes, I'd kind of start tearing up, even if it was inappropriate for the scene. But I think it's. Yeah, I didn't really find anything challenging personally. For you had the whole pregnancy storyline.
You had a whole pregnancy, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, for me, the idea of playing a mom was something I'd never done before, and I didn't want to caricaturize a teen mom, because there's lots of reality TV now that posts it in such a particular way, and Rosie wasn't written that way anyway. So luckily, the writing kind of spoke for itself. But I guess one of the biggest challenges for me was making sure that the accent didn't hinder me from experiencing the emotions of the story. And I was really excited to go back to kind of the accent that I had when I was little, but also I wanted to make sure that it was perfect, and I didn't want to have anything falter because of thinking about that. So luckily that fear kind of went away. But I just didn't want, there's so many great moments in the movie that I didn't want to miss out on. You want to perform it to the best that you can, and the comedy and the drama, and not have one overshadow the other.
And finally, this talks about traveling. Where do you like to travel most?
Italy.
Good answer.
That's where you're from, right?
Well, I'm Lebanese, but my husband's
Oh,
from
and also
Italy.
Lebanon.
Yeah, I'd love to go to Lebanon. But no, I love seeing the world in all its glory, and I think there are so many places I haven't been yet, and so many places I have been but haven't fully explored. So I'm happy to go anywhere. But there are so many parts of England itself that I've still not seen. So give me a ticket to anywhere, and I'll go.
I'd love to go back to South Africa and do a safari, and I'd love to travel more in Asia. I want to go to the Great Wall of China.